Hello everyone, my name is Carly Diaz and today I will be talking about anti-vaxxers not influencing parents' decisions to get their children vaccinated. But before I jump into that, I'd like to briefly talk about why anti-vaxxers believe vaccinations are harmful to their children. Many parents choose to not vaccinate their children because they believe it causes serious health issues. Side effects like swelling at the injection site or a slight fever can be caused after receiving a vaccination. But the risk in death and more serious side effects have been so small it is very difficult to document. Anti-vaxxers also believe that by letting their children get vaccinated, it can cause them to be autistic. Claims like this have been carefully researched and disproved immediately. While anti-vaxxers are set on focusing on the small percentage of cons, there are many people that still believe the pros of vaccinations outweigh them. My first secondary claim is that children's immune systems are still developing and they are at an age where they are more susceptible to diseases and viruses. Children are more vulnerable for environmental risks than adults for a number of reasons. Children are constantly growing. They breathe more air, consume more food, and drink more water than adults do in proportion to their weight. Children's central nervous, immune, reproductive, and digestive systems are still developing. At certain early stages of development, exposure to environmental toxicants can lead to irreversible damage. Children behave differently from adults and have different patterns of exposure. Young children crawl on the ground where they can be exposed to dust and chemicals that accumulate on floors and soils. Children have little control over their environment. Unlike adults, they may be both unaware of risks and unable to make choices to protect their health. Therefore, this is why parents make the conscious decision to vaccinate their children. My second and final secondary claim is that vaccines have and are continuing to evolve. Vaccines have been a part of the human fight against disease for over 200 years. They have been one of the public health's greatest success stories. It has led to the eradication of smallpox and has eliminated polio in all but a handful of countries. Furthermore, there are many ways that vaccines are evolving today. These new techniques include vaccines that will produce long-term immunity, as well as the delivery of vaccines which will make it easier to give children, such as inhaled vaccines or even patch applications. These technological advances are leading the public to have more confidence and trust in medical experts when they advise their children to be vaccinated. The claims anti-vaxxers make about not wanting to vaccinate their children are in no way altering parents' decisions to vaccinate theirs. By administering these vaccinations to their children, they are receiving the antibodies they need to fight these potential infections and viruses to make their immune system stronger. Vaccinations represent the most successful form of disease prevention available today and will continue to be beneficial worldwide.
All right, I'm frankly confused as to what the claim is. The proposition that you have written here and that you said later on in the speech is that the anti-vaxxers are not influencing parents' decisions to get their kids vaccinated. So if what the anti-vaxxers are saying has no influence on parents, why are we talking about this? What's the impact? Why is this problematic? Parents get their kids vaccinated because they want to take care of them. Okay, so what's the argument? What's in dispute? I can't tell what it is that you're trying to suggest is controversial here. You give us a description of what the benefits of vaccination are, and I don't think anybody is denying those benefits. You have a little bit of a section where you were talking about how the beliefs of people who are opposed to vaccination are largely debunked, or they're based on myths or falsities, but that's not really the focus of your argument. That's not even one of the supporting points. It's just background information. And you don't have any evidence on any of these points. So I didn't hear a source citation. I don't think, you've got some factual data here that I don't think anybody's going to dispute. But you're not drawing an inference here. What is the claim that you want us to accept that requires us to go beyond that which we can directly observe? That's the thing that is problematic here. If you were responding to this yourself, what would your argument be? Because you're basically saying there is no impact from the anti-vaxxers. I guess the alternative is we could take a counterclaim on this that says, the anti-vaxxers are the ones that are responsible for suppressing this. But that's not really the point that you were making in most of the speech. So it feels like that would be a tangential argument, even though it directly responds to the proposition, because the supporting points were not relevant to that issue. There's a lot of reading also, and once again, there's a very limited amount of content in the speech. You have almost twice as much time as you've used, so I think that you could find some information that talks about how the anti-vaxxer campaign is either influencing people or suggesting that it is dying out and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Maybe the point that you're trying to make is that we should stop paying attention to them and we should just ignore the influence that they're having because they aren't really having any big influence. That would be a much more direct claim, and I think that then we would see that there's a little bit of controversy on it. But again, the secondary points that you have seem to be more directed at the effectiveness of vaccines than anything else. Okay, thank you.